Testing, one, two, three. Testing, one, two, three. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, glory, yours now forever. Your Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and please God, help me with my back pain. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Um, so I'm the one who told you that Joe Biden was the president. I'm the one who told you that the so-called Hollywood setup, White House, and everything else was not true. I'm the one who told you that it was a Charlie Oscar Utah Paul. I'm the one who told you that it should have been resolved from the 2016 election. People should have been brought in front of everybody from the 2016 election and the hanky panky that was going on. I'm the one who told you, well, others, I'm not the only one who signed that letter that we got to Trump. But again, it was before the meeting that he had with the UN in public. He did not bring up the sun, did not bring up the things that we mentioned that are the number one threats to the planet and to the way of our life. Instead, I have been attacked viciously by everything, where I've had thousands of hours worth of videos taken down. I haven't been able to get online. It's to internet. I'm like, my Patreon people are loyal. Um, if I have to pay for my blockchain videos live stream, I'll pay for it, but that will only be on my Patreon thing. Um, so this live stream is going to be only on Patreon. I can't deal with this type of censorship any longer. Um, that's why I no longer. I have an account on Facebook, but they put me in a doghouse so many times. I refuse to even post. I refuse to even go there. So as far as the Bible study goes, I appreciate the people who turned out and everything else, but it is a disappointment that we didn't grow it because I wanted to have a true feedback. Uh, so for me, it's better for me to just go locally to my church on Bible meetings on Wednesdays. So I encourage you to do the same. Um, I'm not taking it out on my subscribers. I I I I, I love you guys, and I really appreciate everybody who come up here Friday and everything else. I don't think The $5 is a lot, even a dollar. There's some spots. It's not a lot to get past this insanity. Um, for example, okay, I don't know the Victor 22, the bird osprey, has been grounded for the I have no idea how many times it's over 20 times it's been grounded. It is the only military aircraft that is responsible for killing our personnel in the hundreds. You're gonna say, "Well, what's wrong with that banana thing?" There was nothing wrong with that banana thing. Um, I won't. It had a built-in auto gyro safety system just in its design. Um, it it flew forever. Okay, it's still flying. It's the slicks are still flying. Believe it or not. I mean, there are some designs that are just that good. This design was bad from the start. Um, I say to you, it's cheaper for them to just ditch the whole tilt rotor thing and just refit the fuselages with a cropter, a thing off of a drone that you see flying with, 4 or 8 electric engines, whatever they can be powered by jet turbine generators, whatever. Anything's better than that piece of crap. It's got so much vulnerability in so many things where you flying into some theaters, the brown is so bad, the pilots lose sight if they're flying and they don't fly properly. Again, it flips over on its back. Um, yes, they're on my Odyssey page. I can't type it in because the cats broke my keyboard. I'll type in it. I'll type it in on my iPad. Let's see. Same thing. Just search for Bull Omni. Again, the link is on my Patreon. I need 22 more users to do that. Oh, for free. Oh, my sciatica. My back is. I heard it yesterday, and my doctor told me don't do this, don't do. Of course, I did it. I bought my wife for Christmas a beautiful X chair. I put it together and carrying it into her office and moving it around and whatnot. I, you know, yeah. So I'm paying for it today, but it was definitely worth it because my wife is worth it. So I have been very busy the last a month of November with a whole new server. No, I'll show you pictures. I again posted this on my Patreon thing, but yeah, okay. So new server setup, and then new 27-inch. Um, well, they're not new; they use, but they are new. I never buy equipment new. I buy it used because you get a tremendous discount. Anyway, all new 27 and 27 and a half inch max. Beautiful, beautiful machines and 5K ultra screens. So they're working very, very well. And but there's settling in things, people, the new operating systems, things like this and whatnot, and staff doesn't always like to change. But you know, the wife loves it. Okay, she loves it because she can hold up medical records and documents same time, and she likes the screen because it's so much sharper, and it's bleh, organic light emitting diodes, so they burn. Okay, so when you buy them, you got to be careful of that. You got to know what you're getting because they do burn if you don't take care of them. That goes for your 5K ultra screens on your TVs. They burn. Okay, so if you watch news channels or anything with a third board tag, it'll burn it. Okay, so you have to turn it down. LGs have a specific setting that you could put into it where it'll uh you know dim that and move it around so that it doesn't burn. Yep, I've known about quantum computers for a long time, um, but there is a tremendous problem with quantum computers. Um, yes, do they work? Yes, but the the problem is twofold. Number one, cost, cost of operation. So it's not like you're going to find yourself with a quantum computer in your portable iPad, watch, cell phone, something like this. But the reality is that the photon computer that I'm working on is also quantum. It also does essentially teleportation, and but because it's working with light and the math of light, there are things that are much faster, and uh, unlike the superposition, which you can only read once, there is no such limitation with a photon computer. And also, it's very easy to then literally use holographic storage three dimensionally and store your data permanently if you want, but you can also store it temporarily. But permanently, you can store it into quartz glass. In other words, but if you use a lithium niobate crystal, you could you could store technically you could store data um, three dimensionally in a matrix in salt, and you can rotate um, and set up the polarity of light of the data. Well, with this type of technology, though, um, because each node is quantum entangled, there's technically no as soon as you turn on the first node, it's connected to all the nodes, but all the nodes throughout time. So there's no limitation in really the size of the system, but also because all time exists at the same time. So no matter where this thing is, it'll be able to, yeah. So it's a the premise is um, much more. It's more. Um, there's more really things to get you into what's known as called a type 1 civilization with a photon computer. The other thing is that other things cannot interfere with it. So, for example, a solar storm would not interfere with it. An EM weapon would not interfere with it. It's also private. So I could and it's limitless, which means you could have you could have a colony on Mars, for example, and you could have instantaneous, real time communication to that same by having these entangled photons. So, and it's instantaneous, and there's no limit, okay, to it. Um, the other systems are extremely expensive. No, they are not working with multi universes. Their interpretation of that is absolutely 100% wrong. What they are working with is what I call the meatloaf of this existence. And this we're living in a specific slice of that meatloaf, and each slice is very, very thin. Okay, but it's a universe onto itself, these slices. For example, if I went back 20 years to that specific slice, the planets, everything would all exist except they're in that specific location. Okay, that's the analogy. Now, of course, it's not four dimensional. It's actually an E8 projection and things. I want to get into that. But the reality is that the analogy that I'm giving you holds up, okay, where you can visualize that meatloaf. There's a professor in Berkeley who I did a radio interview and I explained time. And the reality is that there is no past, present, and future. All time exists. It's just a specific slice that you're in, okay, at a specific time. So, that's now the urgent things that I have to discuss. Number one, if you want to see me in the future, go to my Patreon site and subscribe, and you will see that and more shows. All my videos, okay, specifically other things that are not, I have been taken down, or I couldn't even post. They're on my Patreon site. There's links to it, and there's links to my Odyssey page and everything else. The the Chinese have taken most of their abandoned fishermen, everything like this, and what they're doing is they're setting up perimeters, and they've weaponized those fishing vessels, and they're setting up on a reef outside the Philippines as well as other things, to where that they've set up a whole semicircle of over 200 ships, and they're increasing daily. We ourselves have made uh, three divisions active and are currently flying them over there, as well as other things. That's why this um, Osprey thing is at the worst possible time. To say that this administration is literally doing everything that China wants is not strong enough. It's not strong enough of a determination because um, you saw what happened in California. You've seen what happened in all these attacks from Iran onto, including navy vessels and shipping vessels and everything else. Um, at least at least 93 American soldiers have died, or military personnel. Over 100 Americans have been held captive. I have no idea how many of those have been killed. The media does not discuss any of these things at all. The Instead, you know, they were all for impeaching Trump over a fake dossier, a fake agenda supported by the three-letter entities, as it were, as well as those three-letter entities have done tremendous damage. um, do I have faith in God? Yes. Um, does it bother me about the waste of this insanity and about the waste of our blood and treasure, who are the best of that we have to offer? And I want you to all gather right now and ask God to forgive us of our sins and our ways that this nation has departed from His laws and ways, that He protect our sons and daughters in harm's way from any kind of harm, return them to our families. In His Son's name, Jesus, I pray. Please, not everybody here has abandoned you, sir. I, I am so thankful for the grace that you have shown me and for the love that you have shown me. In your Son's name, I pray. God bless our military. Amen. I hope you have had a wonderful Thanksgiving. They were all, I remember when I moved my son from Pax River to Pensacola, they were all about the fact that we had to have our cards in order to do this. We didn't even know if we could get back into the state, but we had a official thing. Max, I didn't bring any bones because you've been eating the cat's food. So he gained 6 pounds, people, from eating the cat's food. He thinks the cats are the greatest thing in the world. You think the cats are the greatest thing in the world? Don't eat the cat's food, dog. Don't eat the cat's food. He he gets along with them great. He thinks they're manna from heaven. Okay, go lie down. Don't eat that food. Anyway, they are Bombay cats, and they are different than any other cats I've ever had in my life. They are extremely intelligent. They, I would say they're extremely close to F1s. They don't like really to be pet, but yet they snuggle, things like this and whatever, but they're very particular. They're extremely intelligent, and they're definitely a blessing. And we don't have a rodent problem anymore. We have an old farm ranch, and in in the town of Smithtown. Just I think this town goes back to 1660 something, 1665, something like that. But anyway, every time it gets cold, the mice uh, and rats they try to get into the house to get shelter and things, and yeah, they make it very interesting. Any rate, yes, Jim F. Yes, we missed a golden opportunity. Okay, we're like the rabbit and the hare. I mean, the tortoise and the hare. To which that we could have had a moon base on the South Pole. We could have had a lot of things. We could have been mining the moon for helium-3, for a technology that we have. We have a helium-3 reactor, fusion reactor that runs and works. What's the problem? There is no natural helium-3. You have to create it, okay? Because it costs more energy to do so. Just like Lockheed has the compact fusion reactor, it works, but the fuel source is as such that it's so has to be so purified that again it doesn't pay to have it um, as a power generation system. However, it certainly pays to have it, and they did. They fit it into an F-16, and they flew it for 24 hours. Um, so you're now talking about harmless nuclear aircraft that don't need refueling, that engine will fly all day and whatever on this special fuel source. I would imagine it would they're probably able to carry enough for maybe two 2 or 3 days, something like that. Um, and they had this before my stroke, which means I knew about this, and I gave um, a lecture on it before my stroke. That's back in 2015. So yeah, now they got the patents for it. They got everything. It's an incredible achievement, and that platform can be used in tremendous military applications. Think of our destroyers. It can be retrofitted into all of the aircraft. It can be retrofitted into all the destroyer ships, and it's a phenomenal achievement. Phenomenal, but it still won't help us with the tremendous power um, things that we need. So, what do we need? Well, right now, fortunately, we need diesel. Um, Now, we had a technology that was based on um, Alan Weissman, basically molten salt reactor based on thorium, and those reactors ran at Oak Ridge to the highest temperatures ever recorded, and safely. Not pressure and everything else. If anything, a vacuum or a less than pressure. Um, Molten salt means that if it springs leak, the leak would solid, turn into a solid thing, and it makes it also inactive because of other physical reasons. I think on my page I'll give a special thing, but this administration, uh, Trump had given the green light to Flive Energy. They had built a factory and two prototypes that they were testing and passed all the tests. They were then going to he was going to green light and streamline the regulatory stuff. But I think he was, um, anyway, he wasn't reelected. So then on day one, this administration dictatorship, I call it, basically canceled it. How green was that? Um, why do I say that? Well, because those type of reactors have so much waste heat they could have processed and literally made from the sky, from air, from anything, from any waste carbon materials. They could have made dimethyl ether, okay, which is like synthetic diesel for all you should know. Okay, it burns like diesel, no ramifications. It's actually cleaner. Um, yeah, they could have done. Forget about it, and they could have rolled out these reactors, which are about the size of my van, and put literally thousands of them all over the country, producing 200 megawatts of electricity wherever they are, and byproduct of fresh water, fertilizer, the artificial diesel, and all other types of high temperature processes that require high temperature, which are one of the main industrial reasons why um, we go through oil number two so badly in this country, where they focus on the smoke that's coming out of a stack on a truck, but that's really harmless. Instead, they put all these soot collectors and then burn it later on at a much higher temperature with urine, admit that in the but you can't see it, so it's okay. Yet they burn a third more fuel. Yeah, none of it. And then the whole thing about the change and whatnot, nobody will look at the record beyond and say what what happened, what melted the last ice age, why, and what froze it. It wasn't Toyota or Ford. Okay, the amount of carbon that we've emitted into the atmosphere has raised the global temperatures by zero point 0.8 degrees over the past 150 years. But moreover, it has been abundantly clear to the plants that they like it because it's more carbon they can pull. We were almost extinct as a planet because our CO2 parts per million was teetering at about 185. If it gets below 172 parts per million, that's it. Photosynthesis, other types of things, they can't work. Okay, it doesn't work. So you have to have carbon. Now, you ready for this? At other times of the existence of this planet, that level was at 10,000 parts per million. Okay. And it was at over 1,000 parts per million when the Earth was frozen to the equator. Nobody's telling you all these things. This is all before the so-called industrial revolution. Okay, so we always didn't have ice caps either. They look at Venus and stuff. Yeah, no, you can't do this. Okay, Venus is a different planet, but moreover, it's in a different specific orbit around the sun. Same thing with Mars. Mars is in a different orbit, but it's also smaller. Okay. Now, the pole has somebody has Jim said that pole shift. Um, no, Jim, I have two things. Number one, okay, I want to be live on my Odyssey page, yes, and I will be live on that, but it's going to require money from me unless I get my 22 followers in addition to what I have. If I just get those 22 people, it'll be free for me. Otherwise, I have to buy the so-called Bitcoin. Anyway, getting back to this thing, diesel is from crude oil. Okay, now the crude oil goes through what's known as called a fractional distillation process. So they heat it up, and there's big chambers, and depending on the weight of the volatiles and the utility and stuff like this, they all liquefy out at specific temperatures, and those temperatures are in this grading. Okay, they also do what's known as called cracking because out of a crude oil, they want more gasoline than so-called, you know, other types of things. But diesel runs the world. Okay, and in countries like India and China, there is no OSHA. I mean, you could look at any YouTube manufacturing in India, and you won't believe what you see. Not only no safety glasses, they're wearing bare feet, they're doing unbelievable hazardous things with 1930s equipment that they got. And of course, I'm sure their companies and bosses are making a fortune, but they're paying these people maybe $2 or $3 a day, and there it is. But as far as the polar shift goes, that started in 1859. The Carrington event started it, and the magnetic field has been decreasing since, and it's been going exponential. It's an exponential decrease. And it will happen sometime in 2045, 2040. It won't be a good day, and it'll be a fast day, and it'll be biblical. Yep. Um, yep. But I think that first, before that happens, you have Solar Max in 2025. We've seen at least nine this year coronal mass injections that just missed us by literally 1 hours, the other one days. That would have again put us back into the um, 19th century as far as technology. Steam engines are the best thing that you'd have. You would not have any computers whatsoever. You would not have any electricity, any satellites, nothing. And that, unfortunately, is the biggest number one threat to this world, and nobody wants to talk about it. And it's real for the entire planet, for all the nations. And no, you can't. If anything, it makes it worse. The effect is worse the deeper you go into the ground, um, specifically for technology. But biologically, if you have heart problems, if you're on a pacemaker, if you've had other things, it can be bad too. I don't have any bones. You ate the cat's food. I have to think of your health. You're a good dog, but I can't give it to you. Why don't you go find your friends? What are they doing? If you leave those cats alone, they could get into a lot of trouble very fast. Why am I doing this as far as my just going into uh, just Patreon? Because I'm tired of this game where I try to get um, a socket or something, and I have nothing but problems. And I've been telling you guys the truth from day one. Yeah, no, no. They when there's record. If you look at what's that painter that cut his ear off? At any rate, he had paintings where they showed people ice skating on the Thames and outside of London. So there, 200 years ago to other types of things, it was much colder. But then they also have other writings to which that the Chinese were talking about, you know, summers where there was, green things and Greenland was green. So there's, you know, and also the uh, geological record of the Grand Canyon specifically and other tree rings show of massive solar storms, massive volcano eruptions, but also other times when it was much warmer than it is now. So, and all this was before Ford. So, I'm not saying, as I always said to you, I'm not saying that we don't need to get off oil. Okay. We don't need to get, first of all, we should never use coal ever for burning. It's much, much too valuable to be used as graphite. And um, the graphite should become the 21st century steel. You have uh, all kinds of things that are anywhere between 11 to 12 times physically lighter than a equivalent steel component, but yet 20 to 30 times stronger. So there are other things, the fact of the matter is that when we this earth itself, uh, it had to have a much, 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 much higher uh, CO2 count because look at all the where do you think all this oil came from? Where do you think all this coal came from? That's that's carbon that's been sequestered. So, um, but if you again we were this close to it, they got up to dry ice temperatures. Again, a mixture with graphene, silver, and boron became a superconductor, which I again, you want to have electric vehicles or any kind of vehicle, you need superconductivity. Okay, so because you have 100% efficiency, but we need room temperature super, you know, something that is superconductive at 70 degrees. Um, and that's one of the holy grails. So you're talking about technology to which that everything becomes 100% efficient. It's 100%. Yeah, it's 100% efficient to do anything. So you can store a bolt of lightning. You can, that's what you need before you can push EVs. Because then you could charge up your car in not even 2 minutes because it would have a supercapacitor, and then drive it for 500 miles on a buck. Do they want this? No, they don't want it. They want you to be controlled. They want you to be. I mean, the other thing I want to talk about is my wife. We went out to the mall the other night, Friday night, and early 7 o'clock. I couldn't believe it. The Apple Store. If there was 4 people in there, there was a lot. The mall was empty. The stores were empty. And to show how bad it is, we're talking about uh, this was last week. We're talking about a week before Hanukkah, and they're closing the mall at 9 o'clock. I have never seen the like, ever. By the way, happy Hanukkah. For all those that don't understand, I'm a Christian, which means I'm a Jew. All Christians, born again Christians, are Jews. We all believe in the Old Testament. We just the difference is we know that Jesus was God's son and he's coming again. Anyway, I'm glad to see Rick here. Rick, you need to become part of my patronage because of the fact that if you want to see this show again, you're going to have to subscribe. It's the only way I can get around the censorship, folks. I'm really sorry. But it will be a different show also because yeah, all my stuff is on my Patreon site. You can they we're talking about thousands of hours worth of work, all kinds of things. And it just I had a normal human reaction. I'm not gonna tell you I wasn't pissed about it. Um I'm also going to tell you that a lot of people who lie, who do clickbait and everything else, but I said this, and what happened? They finally were shown to be the liars they are, and there it is. Are there any questions? If you want to know what's going on with the market, the Fed's buying debt, and everybody's in debt. The debt is over $1.1 trillion for people, personal debt. You'll see parallels when did this kind of thing happen last time? When everybody did margins and they were doing, and that was what the 1920s, the Roaring 20s. What happened at the end of the Roaring 20s? Did you look at the job figure? Did you see? Does anybody talk about the changes that were made and the other job figures? Does anybody tell you the truth? Yep. But India is the one that landed on the South Pole. I'm looking at a cat, thinking about eyeing the litter box. You want to see this cat? I don't know what they did to the keyboard, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you. Yeah, they don't like to be picked up. They're wild, right, Max? Don't eat that cat's food, Max. Did you tell everybody you're 56 pounds, dog? 56 pounds. You're 56 pounds. That's a lot of weight, dog. Supposed to be 52. Yeah. Yeah, pure muscle. I don't know. He's getting a girth. But you see Pogo's right here. Let me see if I can make him up. Okay. There we go. There we go. This is Pogo, everybody. Don't eat the aloe. You get sick, cat. Crazy cat. Do you know if aloe is toxic? I don't think it is. Wait, come on, cat. I don't want you dying from aloe. My wife will kill me. I have to ask her about that. Anyway, yeah, he's a pogo. Okay. When you're sitting on a couch, he jumps up and he greets you with a headbutt. And he also likes to eat. See how roundy his girth is? Because his brother there, his brother's coming in. No, I don't know. He's probably, yeah. See, he's at any rate. So he's gonna push on the keyboard. I have to put the keyboard away. They totaled it. I don't know what they did to it, but the whole bottom rack is now he's going behind the machine. And he's coming out the other side. You're bound and determined to eat that aloe plant. Man, come on. No eating the plant. I'm sure it won't kill them. They're pretty finicky about things. But it's my wife's plant. She grew it from a, another. She's got a great green thumb. She grows a lot of stuff. Toxic to cats per Google. Great. Well, then I'm going to have to, yeah, cutting, right. No. The only one I watched was the one with DeSantis and Gruesome, which is going to be the Democratic presidential candidate who I wish I was wrong, but it's going to be gruesome and witless. I don't see how. Cat, please, you don't drink my water. What is wrong with you? You got your own water. Anyway, this is what they're like. They they are either on or off, and most of the time that they're on. Uh, it's okay. Like I said, I the trade off is good. There's no rodents, and Max gets along with them great, so he doesn't mind them at all. And yeah, the thing I'm worried about the most is those cats are desperately trying to get out, and I don't want them to get out because we have eagles here, we have falcons here, we have owls here, we have a duck hawk here. I've seen a duck hawk take out a pigeon in my front pine, like you can believe. And yeah, so uh, and it's amazing they go from region to region because there's like no squirrels, there's no rabbits. Yeah, we used to have tons of squirrels. We have deer. I have deer that go in my backyard every single day now. But yeah, if they get out, I'm afraid that they'll they'll get killed. So there's a lot of stuff out there that will seek to kill them on purpose. So That's Inky. Yeah, he's a good cat. He's no, no, no. The deer the things that would kill the cats are the birds. We have a lot of prey birds here. We have everything from ospreys to hawks, duck hawks, owls of all kinds. We have great horned owls. We have the other ones, the barn owls. We have a falcon, couple falcons, and definitely a bald eagle. Um, yeah. So on anytime I go outside now, I can see somebody or hear somebody. So I know, these cats have to stay indoors. They're going to be on the table of those birds because the birds will seek out and kill them on purpose because they would normally hunt what these types of birds like to eat. So that's why they do it, and they do that in their thing. Anyway, this is going to be my last public show on this channel. Everything else is going to be free. I might later on turn these into regular things, but I don't think so because again, there's a tremendous amount of censorship. Um, I get put into the doghouse on a regular basis. I'm tired of it. So and no, the Rumble and all this other stuff. No, they they have all different types of stuff. So we used to when we first came here, our cats were outdoor cats. We actually had a cat door in the what we called the sunroom, and they came in and out. We we didn't have a limit, but they just wouldn't. But it's changed so much since 2002. We never had bald eagles. We never had deer. We never. All this stuff is in, and I looked it up, and the reason why is because DDT was stopped and banned and was not used um, after 50 years ago, and it took that long for it to make um, a comeback. To which that life is incredible here on the island now, and it's amazing, especially the birds and the cats in the trash. Ugh. It's what it is, folks. It's like dealing with kittens. He's living in the what would you call it? The Western Caribbean, approximately, I guess about 230 miles from Panama. Panama is very dangerous, gone away of the dogs. Venezuela, Venezuela looks like it's going to have its own Ukraine war. Um, looks like it's going to take over its other state that's next to. I mean, all the bad actors are coming out of the woodwork because you have a corrupt administration who's weak, and this is what you have. Um, it depends on where you go. When I used to make regular drives down to Florida, my car got hit. I I think that I I think John is concerned about his family, and there's no ifs, ands. There's again proof on my Odyssey page. If you look on my Patreon page, you'll also see other things. But I think the last time we saw them in public, they were walking away from the White House. I think that Trump should have had him at, like I said, election night 2016. And everything would have been different. And then John could have been their AG, um, and everything would have been different. And everything would have been different. It just, you could call him Captain Jack. He runs a sailboat charter business and season down in by San Andreas and the other Bias Islands and stuff. So, but you wouldn't recognize him. He's got a full beard, but nice boat, 50-foot boat. He's living on that boat. Got a lot of solar panels. Nothing wrong with it. But it's believe it or not, that area is controlled by Colombia, and it's very cheap to live there. You can live like a king for $5,000 a year. Everything's cheap. Food's cheap. Even the fuel's cheap. So if you know what's going to happen with Robert, I mean, if he was close, they'd kill him. The media's giving him no press. That should tell you exactly what was he talking about? What was he talking? He was telling you the truth, and there it is. Good place to retire to. Well, if you speak Spanish, you have to speak. Um, I guess you could speak English. Um, it's hot. Uh, for me, no guns. That's bad because I love, I love the sport shoot, and it's too hot for me. I need, I love it here. I love, I love my house up in Vermont. I love it up there in the summer. I really love it up there in the summer. I love it up there all year round, but the summertime is really amazing. Um, because you have these wonderful, 50-degree, 45-degree cool nights, and it's just great to have that mountain air, and yet in the daytime it'll be 90, 93 degrees, and there's plenty of place to go swimming, and it's nice. I love the island. I love I love sailing on it. I'm getting my boat refit. I'm doing my boat this year, so I mean, well, next year. So uh, there's all kinds of places from here and around, and then I love the geography of this whole Northeast area. For me, if I want to sail down the Bahamas, I can. There's just all kinds of things I can do that I love. Uh, I hate the government of it. I hate the politics of it. I hate the things that our governor, so called, is doing. Uh, it's beyond criminal, and there's no so called fourth estate that's keeping these people in check. They're not. So that's the problem. They're not keeping them in check. They're not. There's there's not even, everybody says there's two kinds of law. No, there's no law, and then there's law against not a person who's a not criminal. If I say, do, think, you know, I mean, my gosh, it's that bad. Yet they can say what incredibly, unbelievably horrible things, and yet they're held to a different standard. They're it's just it's unbelievable what's going on the Stony Brook campus. It's and what's going on around here. I've never seen so many swastikas, so many. It's upside down crosses, anti-Christian stuff. I mean, it's would never go into New York City. Not now. No way. And my wife and I used to go in every year. Way too dangerous. Way too dangerous. And let's see what he's barking at. Because there's the habitual porch pirates are big now. Let me see. Sorry about the silence here. I'm trying to determine what. All right. Are there any other types of now to join my Patreon page? Again, it's a Patreon, and again, it's Ball on me, and you'll see my mug there, and it's just anywhere from $1 to $5 a month, or you can get it reduced if you get a yearly subscription. And you're gonna say, "Well, why aren't you doing?" I'm tired of gambling every time I try to plan a show and do things where I can't get on the air. Different types of things are. Um, it's extremely frustrating, and I want to. I put a lot of work into doing like the Bible study thing. I would put 2 days of work into preparing for that Bible study thing. So um, I appreciate the people who showed up, but you have to do the cost benefit analysis. Anyway, it's not that I don't love you guys. I think the most of you. I mean, It's very frustrating for me as a creator to see literally thousands of hours of your work, and then and there's nothing you can do about it. So I had a problem with Patreon, and my wife put the kibosh on that. So at least I won that battle. But Google, how they get around it is they, the saying it's a difficulty with Verizon, difficulty with this, blah 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 blah. But that the reality, I know what the reality is. You know what the reality is. Just like this election that's coming up. I really am afraid that it's going to be gruesome and witless because he's going to lie in the debates. It'll be him, won't be. This whole thing's going to, you'll see, be a great distraction, gruesome and witless. That whole California thing, that was, yeah, that showed you exactly what's going on. Still trying to win a car for my son. There's one left. Um, Still trying. The food's been great. My wife and I are going there tonight. We're going to enjoy a great meal and fantastic meals. Last time we had, I'll show you what we had. They have this salmon dish, which is and the salad. Look at this salad. The salad was with beets, walnuts, and goat cheese. Fantastic, great, and yeah. And this is at our casino, which is just my wife and I. We sit at the bar and we have a great time. Don't have to clean any dishes or anything like that. And yeah, it's Jake's 58. I'll show you. This is the only car that's left. It's an Alfa Romero. It's a red thing. So yeah, here's a shot. That's Juan's yacht. Cat, you gonna stop? Yeah, look, stop eating this salad plant. Yeah, go eat, brother. What a stubborn cat. Yeah, this is where he was anchored. Let me show you one of I have it. Signature dishes. Yeah, they also make this. They made this some of the best scallops I've had, but this is fantastic. So wild caught Atlantic salmon. Okay. So I'm looking. I don't know what they're gonna have tonight, but I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be really good. And the best thing is that it's free, and that nothing to clean up. You're a wild ass cat. Say hi to everybody. This is Pogo, and boy, is he a Pogo. He is a Pogo. Yeah, you got to sit there and you want to be into what I'm doing, huh? No, don't drink my water. What is with you? My water. This cat has water of his own. Why do you want to drink my water? What is it with you? You want to drink my water? Huh? Here, go sit with your brother then on the bottom shelf. Hey, he is a he's a bull energy. That one. Yeah. Yes, it's fresh. What last week was Norwegian salmon. Escabache Norwegian. Oh, oh, this chef is fantastic. It was on this. It was on this uh, special the sauce with. It was just. It was so good. Big piece, but totally great for me. Um, and I had a Caesar salad uh, with real anchovies. Ah, really good. Yep, it was. I'm looking forward to it. It was fantastic, and it was fresh. I mean, if I paid for it, okay, it's $23 a person paying for it, and it comes with a glass of I get club soda with lime, but $23. I'd have to pay 200 bucks to go to the Bonefish right over here and get something comparable, a place. So it's definitely that's what it costs. It's a lost leader for them. But because I'm a Black Diamond player and everything else, I get it for nothing. It's great. Um, the kittens, Rick, the kittens. So this guy was like born older, something. You know, we have a curio. Um, my wife, she does this all the time. She finds things, and then we have them restored. And this thing, we got it for nothing. But um, it's magnificent. The glass alone is worth about $15,000, but it's 150 years old, and we had it restored, and it's magnificent. It's called Tiger Oak, old growth oak that's in the shaving pattern. It, it's 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 like a museum piece. It's fantastic. Anyway, you know, I picked it up in my van, took it to this guy, and you know, Now we have it. So anyway, to get away from Pogo, because this guy's got a longer tail. As you notice his tail, he jumps and up to the top of that curio and lies on it like this to get away from his brother when he has had enough. You know, because his brother will just come over and start biting him and attacking him and say play now. So yeah, the but we could have sold it off. The guy wanted to buy just the glass. The glass is worth a fortune. Anyway, that whole piece is worth about, I don't know, $30,000 or something. We're never going to sell it, but I mean, you should see it in person. It's spectacular, like it belongs in one of those Upper Brookville homes. Anyway, the wife is going to put all of our silverware and things like that in it, and maybe some of the bone china she's got. So yeah, but it's a really really nice piece and heavy. Yeah. No, this is the real deal. Real deal. So yeah, solid tiger wood oak. It's old growth stuff. It's amazing. It's it's just such a beautiful piece. So we love things like that. Oh, we also have this secretary. Um, oh gosh, we love old things, real old things. Not like what's in this. This is a study. We're gonna redo it soon enough. Right now, it's just collecting junk as we redo each room. So this has become the cat's room. The automated litter box is right under here. Pretty neat contraption. So yeah. So are there any questions? So yeah, $5 a month gets you that and a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch more of what really is happening uh and the real truth. And you're not, I don't blow sunshine up your butt. Okay. I tell you what really can happen, what really can change, what really is going on, and the truth. So I know you guys don't want to be lied to like everybody else is lying. I'm also not this whole doom and gloom kind of thing because um, I'm I believe in God, and there's no question that Jesus is going to come for the third time, and that we unfortunately have to go through this antichrist crap. And but in the same time, I can appreciate the grace that He's given me, the blessings of my sons and grandsons, of my wife, and of you people. And yeah, I would love. What I should do is I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to because I know where I'm going to be. I think I'm going to have a New Year's party, and I'm going to have to get but it's not gonna be here. It's gonna be at Jake's 58. Yep. Um, oh, that place can get crowded. I'll tell you the time to go to it is like an off time because then you by yourself and and restaurant's still there and everything's still there, but you don't have the crowds to deal with. So maybe I shouldn't. But then people have to travel, be off. Those are things you have to consider. They have to work. Not everybody's retired. So, are we going to end the show early? Am I going to end it 4 minutes from now? My last public show, I'll go for the full, 2 hours. So now the cat, the other guy's sleeping. So Pogo's sleeping someplace. He's, Pogo is very dog like. I mean, him and Max play with each other. He spends time with Max. He sits and begs for food with my wife right next to Max when she's, doing turkey or chicken or something like that. These cats love turkey. They love, especially the dark meat of turkey. Oh God, they love it. Um, yeah, tuna fish. Um, they like it, but they're not. You'd think they do. No, other cats I've seen very yes. Jim F. Yes. Ben Davis is a friend. He's a good guy. Um, he's another. The problem I have with him is that he's given up. He is resigned to the fact of just letting it happen, and um, I want to fight to the end. I want to try to save. I know that there's ways that we can use things and still stop things from happening. Unfortunately, there's like only really one person. Elon Musk is the only one I know who's got the abilities and facilities to do something now. I've lost my faith in Trump for many reasons, but the big reason is that he did not follow through on the things that he said he was going to do. And I wish that he would have, but he didn't. And because he didn't, we are suffering the effects of that. And I wish to be proven wrong. I wish for him to be reelected, sure, for him for John to come back and I wish for all those things. I don't think it's a very realistic wish. I think with the media and the corporate controls and everything else, I can't see how it could be so close. And if it is so close, what is that telling me? It's telling me if they're saying he's only 3 or 4 points ahead of Biden, DeSantis thing can be 3 or 4 points ahead of him. Anybody can be 3 or 4 heads, you know. But you see, that's why I'm worried about Gruesome and Willis because you see, he'll get on the debates and he'll just lie, and then the media will back those lies up, just like they align to you to tell you that CO2 is causing is your worst nightmare. It's you know, okay. pollution of plastics and nanoplastics is a nightmare. And it's been going on for 60 years. And now it's in our groundwater. I did a whole thing on this. Did they want to talk about that? No. Did they want to talk about the pollution of big agri? The number one polluter in the entire world is big agriculture. As far as CO2 and other types of emissions, China number one, India number two. Okay. You know how much China puts out? Almost three times the level that we do. And if you combine India and China, that's almost five times. And yet they're not. So, it's just like they're worried about vaccines and everything. You have to have this travel, whatever. But yeah, he let in 2.5 million people, and nobody knows if they've been vaccinated. Nobody knows how much tuberculosis, how many diseases that measles, whatever, all kinds of things that are very hazardous to females that are pregnant. How about a driver on the road killing people by not being given a driver's license because they show up here and they, give them a driver's license, give them a resume. Meanwhile, how many people have been killed? I know this for a fact. Just on Long Island by people who were not supposed to be here. Are the people still dead who are United States citizens, mothers, sons, daughters, fathers? Yes. We're not talking about killed in a robbery. We're talking about killed in a driver's accident. Oh, there are many people killed in robberies and other things too that are done by illegals. Oh, well, they're not illegals because nobody makes them illegal. That's a violation of the Constitution. Sanctuary laws are a violation of the Constitution. When you swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States and state, whatever, as governor, when you sworn in, you can't have by law. If you don't like that law, then you have to go to the state legislature. You have to pass a bill. Then you have to sign it. But on immigration, that's federal. So then the law has to be federally changed. You can't just s- do whatever or not do it. Doesn't work that way. That's not what you have in a democratic republic. But that's what they've been doing. That's the problem. You can't selectively pick and choose which laws that you want to enforce and not enforce. But that's what they're doing. That's why I have a problem with a lot of things. But that's one of the reasons why I have a problem with this government that's here because it's certainly not fair. There's home invasions that are going on around me like peppering the area. What's keeping me safe? I God and my dog. Um, Certainly not my alarm system. It take the cops too long to get here, but my dog, he becomes not happy about something at 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to know he's not. He doesn't. That night he woke us up at 4:30, going off like a lunatic. I have ring cameras or anything else. See what's these people know that you have ring cameras. They know that you have. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna try to break in through one of your basement things or something like this. They can't get by it. They can't get by that on a dog. No way. Nope. So what are they gonna do? Oh, they'll move on to some other house that doesn't have one. So it's simple. Do they want to deal with this? They don't want to deal with him. I don't know how many teeth a dog's got, but they got a lot of teeth. And he's black. So, and he's not afraid. He is not afraid. He's he believe it or not, this state will give him the. I'll never forget this. There was a woman guy tried to. Anyway, the dog killed him. Okay, in Northport, the ASPCA went and hired a lawyer for this stupid dog that was going to be whatever. It was on court TV. It was years ago. Oh, I don't know. Long. It was, I don't know, 15, 16 years ago. Anyway, I'll never forget this guy, saying, and they go, this dog loves this woman. This dog. I'm like, I get it. Okay. But the, if I did something like that, you think the SPCA would hire me an attorney or the Human Rights League or whatever? Please. Okay. I'd be they'd haul my ass off. They wouldn't give a crap, whatever. Even though I'm in my own house, it's so topsy turvy here. It's unbelievable, folks. That's why I have to keep everything locked up in a safe. Period. And yeah, well, we're coming to the end pretty soon. Last of the live shows that are public. You want to see, you have to join my Patreon page. Very easy. But there's a lot more on there than just this. There's tons more. Some interesting Navy footage that you can't get other places. Some you can, other things no. Um, oh yeah, I mean, I wish I could be an illegal. I watch the illegals in my casino. They come, they have to sign in. Me, I just have to show my face, and you're boom, green light, go in. Them, they have to sign in or whatever, and they pay no taxes. If I win because of my governor, she signed it. If I win over, I think it's $3,000, I have to pay 43% tax on that winning right away, and not including the federal tax and everything else. They have an IRS guy right there. Okay, they call it the sin tax to help pay for the illegals in our state that they decided to give them my money. So if I win over a certain amount, I got now technically I have to pay any winnings tax and stuff, like give my things to accountant. And this is on or above that. Unbelievable. They don't. I saw an illegal there win $24,000, and they didn't have to pay squat in taxes. So we're getting it to and from all the time. Our bills are going up. Our food bills are going up. Our taxes are going up, our fuel prices are going up, and they're making us pay for it. Everything, every time, everything that they do, we have to pay for it. It's insane. I've lived here my whole life. I've never seen anything like it. If you told me this is the way it was going to be in 2006, I would have told you you're crazy. I would think it's like some kind of novel. You can't believe what's going on here in my state. You cannot believe it. So again, Peanuts Nana, you must join my Patreon page if you want to see me again. Okay, if this is the last of the free public streams, you'll be seeing an uncensored me. Okay, so sorry to do that to you guys, but it's getting to be where I can't even. And I have proof of the fact that we have been created by God, and the proof is scientific that we are living in a simulation, and that simulation is run by God, created by God. When you think you are alone and you can do whatever, you are not. There will be a judgment day, whether you're saved or not. I'm going to have my lawyer, Jesus Christ, and he's going to say, Bob, shut up. And then he's going to talk to his father on my behalf. Can't, Rick, Charlie, Indiana Alpha, and the Foxtrot, Indiana Bravo, and the Charlie, Indiana Oscar, and the November Alpha Victor Yankee are doing a big Charlie. And what the reality is that there is a acute a Alpha Charlie Utah Tango Echo shortage of military aviators specifically to such a critical stage, it's not funny. And as my son will tell you, because he only told me about this 10 years ago, um, you can't just identify as a naval aviator and get into the cockpit and say, no. Um, you cannot use magic carpet when you have a systems failure. And you have systems failures all the time. What's magic carpet, Bob? Okay. That's the quote unquote Navy's. Everybody's gonna be on magic carpet so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Yeah, no, doesn't work. Not in bad weather, not in pitching decks, not in when systems have not in an engine out, not in. Oh, there's so many not ins. There's so many problems. There's so many failures. Okay. That's why you have T-45s. T-45 will be the last plane that you fly, okay? Which means has cables and controls and pulleys and whatnot. Okay. You have to fly that. There's nobody else with you. You have to fly that to the carrier. You have to land it by yourself. Okay. To get carrier qualified, to get your flight ops, to go on to the F-18, F-35, whatever, you have to do this. This administration saying they should stop that. I know for a fact my son has lost all of his avionics. So, in all these cases, when you have these types of failures, they're saying that, well, the pilot should just eject and be done with it. You have a lot of dead pilots because ejection is not like you think. And also, after you eject, you're basically DQ'd for flight. Okay. And if the ejection goes wrong, it'll, like, for example, if you're a T-38A and you happen to be over 6'2", it'll cut it'll break your knees. If not, really bad stuff will happen to your legs. Because, yeah, um, it's just, and there's also, it's just not a panacea. Okay, and it's expensive. So you're losing a pilot. It might save his life, but he won't be flight op, and they could only maximum in his career go through 3 ejections ever. But most likely, after 1 ejection, they've had medical issues with their back, crack, things like this. They're essentially grounded. Like, why? Not because they can't fly, but because they can't eject again. If they eject again, they'll become a paraplegic. It takes 10 years for that type of injury, little hairline cracks to essentially regrow in your back. Basically, people don't realize every 10 years you regrow your entire skeleton. Okay. So it takes about 10 years for that to fully heal. What's 10 years? Here you are, you're a 25-year-old pilot. 10 years, you're 35 years old. You're an old man. My son is 35. He's an old man when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's not like the movies. Okay. It's just no. So they think that technology is going to do it. You have a plane that was, all the pilots did not want it. Why? Because Fat Amy only has 1 engine. What what are you going to do when that engine goes out? They, oh, we had an F-16. An F-16 is Air Force. That's land. In the Navy, you could be in the Pacific. You can be in the middle ocean, middle. You're not going to be near a base. That's the whole point of the naval carrier. So not having redundancy is a flaw in the thinking. It's just like this whole V-22 Osprey, which are grounded now. It was a terrible, terrible design. Terrible from the get go. It's just bad. And uh, this kind of thinking, this kind of, I wish I was more optimistic on things, and I wish that Trump would stop doing this whole name calling of DeSantis. He is a Bronze Star winner. He served our military with distinction. And you're calling him names? Really, really burns me up. You want to call somebody names? You want to do something? Pick on this administration and what's going on. And how about your failures? How about apologizing and addressing that you won't make those mistakes again or that you did those mistakes? I don't like leaders. I don't like anybody that can not admit their mistakes. Does that mean I won't vote for him? Of course I'll vote for him, but it won't matter. I'll do my whole thing. It won't matter. Just like I voted for Zeldin here. Didn't matter. Zeldin lost by 800,000 votes. How can you lose New York by 800,000 votes? How is it possible? I know how it's possible. When you have 1.7 million illegals in the state of New York, that's how it's possible. How many illegals have moved in the past 4 years? Please. So no, I'm a realist, and I nothing's being addressed. What has changed since the 2020 election? Why? How is it going to make a difference? And are they accounting for the gruesome witless ticket? Has that even been mentioned? No, hasn't been mentioned. You mark my words. You heard it here first. Gruesome and witless. Yes, that's why I can say that. Gruesome and witless. I can't say the November name. I can say that. At any rate, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. You will again see my show next week, but only if you're a Patreon member. Okay, and that's the way it's got to be. But it's been wonderful giving you guys free stuff. I would love to do it, but I can't, and that's just the way it is. So, anyway, God bless. Be safe, and have a pleasant tomorrow.